We'll go Chuck, Jim Utter, and Steve Richards.
Chuck Howard, NASCAR Media Group. Carl, you'd mentioned that you guys need to improve on qualifying in some places. One place you have qualified very well at throughout your career is Richmond, but your finishes have been so-so. Can you talk about how tough that racetrack is to run?
Richmond's been really hard for us. My first race there, ran sixth, and had a car I think that could have won the race. It was my first time there in a Cup car. It was like, man, we're going to dominate this place, and then went about 8 more races before we had a last race there. We finished I think 5th, and the car was really good. I mean, we marched forward. Coincidentally, qualifying was terrible. I don't know where I qualified. It was like 35th or something like that, but we ran 5th. So I'm pretty excited about that race. If we can come out of here with a decent finish, then all we're really doing at Richmond is just going for the win. So, you know, we put ourselves in a good position in points here, so we don't have too much stress. So that'll be a more fun race than it could have been for me, no matter which way it goes, I guess.
Okay, let's go Jim Utter, Steve Richards, Lee Spencer.
Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer. Carl, getting back to when you said at the beginning, looking back on 5 years since you were your first win here, over those 5 years, when it comes to just looking at wins in the Cup Series, you're either feast or famine. Yeah. I mean, when you look back, does your personal experience through those seasons reflect that? Was it not as dramatic as it appears when you look at, you won 9 races, you won 4 races, you won 5, and then you won 0. I mean, is it as dramatic as it looks on paper?
I can tell you that I feel like I've been on my ability in the race car has steadily gone up. I feel like I have more experience, and what I do now is I look back and think, man, I should have won so many more. If I had it to do over again, when we had those screaming fast cars in 2008, I mean, it's a perfect example. I thought, man, it's only going to get better. We won, how many races did we win? 4? And I thought, oh, this is easy, man. We're going to win 5 or 6 next year, 8 or 10 the next year after that. I thought, this is great. And looking back, I had the golden ticket that year, and I just didn't know how to use it well enough. So I guess that's not exactly what you're asking, but it's interesting to look back and see how it's gone, and it gives me I feel like now I have a much better perspective on the sport, and I'm not as quick to judge someone's talent or as I used to be, because you can. I feel like now I'm just waiting around for our cars to be perfect and thing to click, and then we're going to just go, But so I have more patience, but I'd sure like to have those 9 race wins, every season. That'd be nice. Right, yeah, the stats are all over the place, but I'm certain that I'm better than I was in 2005, and definitely better than I was in 2008. And I think that, for me, that 6 laps led this season that stat shows me that we're able to make more with less and not make those dumb decisions on the racetrack that I've made before. And I believe if we can just get it all put together, it's going to be really good. We just gotta go do it.
Steve Richards, Lee Spencer, and end with Mike Embry. Go ahead.
And Carl, could you talk about how nerve-wracking it is for guys on the bubble trying to make the chase?
Yeah.
And is it the atmosphere around the hall, or is it more tense and things like that?
Yeah, you guys know the whole season's. If you make the chase, it's a good season. If you don't, it's really bad. So for the guys that are on the, what is it right now? It's Clint's in 12th, right? And then 100 points back's Mark and Jamie. Mm-hmm. So, that's enough of a point spread that I would assume Mark and Jamie are just going to go for it and hope for the best. But for Clint and those guys, a bad night here that'd be hugely stressful. I've gone to Richmond. The first year in 2005, I went to Richmond, and that was probably the most stressful race I've ever had in my life. Just, I didn't like that at all. So, I'm glad I'm not in that position. Hopefully we aren't in that position after tonight. But the way Jamie and Mark have been running, anything can happen. They could run 1-2 tonight, and a couple guys could have trouble, and it could be a whole different event in Richmond.
Lee, and then end with Mike Embry. Go ahead, Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. As fond as you are of this racetrack, what does it mean to you that we'll only be going to Atlanta once next year?
Yeah, I wish we raced Atlanta, I don't know, every other week, maybe 3 times a month. I really, really like this place. So, to me, it's sad that we're not going to run here twice. I mean, this this track is really special for a number of reasons, but most importantly, it just puts on great races. So hopefully this one event can become something that the fans really support, and that I know it'll make the win more special. An Atlanta win to the drivers, but just for the pure fun factor, I wish we raced here more. So it's too bad.
Final question.
Carl, your team's performance is up lately, and Ford's is in general. But you guys are still going into the chase with just Greg's one win, and the perception is that Ford has had a really down year.
Right.
Is that a bad thing going into the chase with you still have 3 guys that can win it? Is the perception kind of clouding all that?
I'm not too concerned about the perception. The thing I am, frustrated with is I like winning. So, all of us at Roush Fenway have been working so hard, and we haven't won enough. We haven't won an amount that's representative of that hard work. So the goal is, whether we win or not, my mission is just to go win the championship. And I think the last 7 races, I think we've scored enough points that if those were the first 7 races of the chase, we'd be leading. So regardless of no wins. So for me, I've won the most races in a season, scored the most points. In 2008, I know what that feels like. I'd be just fine with just going and winning that championship, whether or not we get a win. I'll try my hardest, but that championship would be nice, and I think that would be fitting for Ford with everything they've done for without using our tax money and doing their business right and supporting racing through all this. It'd mean a lot to win for Ford.
Carl, we thank you very much, and we wish you luck tonight and tomorrow night.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank
Have
you.
fun.
Thank you. Good job, buddy. Thanks, man. See you.